And so each of us is invited to connect directly. We're always connected with infinite bliss. And so that's what Acharya Kashi was talking about. When we are connected with that which upholds the whole universe, we might find ourselves, honestly, no joke, crying with love on York Road. I'm not making this up. So some people know what York Road is. I live off of York Road. I have found myself crying with love on York Road. Usually people cry for York Road for other reasons, right? Not usually because of ecstatic divine love. But if you go to the source, that which upholds the whole universe, you will cry with love everywhere, even on York Road, even when you're in traffic, no matter what you're experiencing. So our meditation topic today is delight and fulfillment, and this is part of our focus on spiritual abundance. From a yogic perspective, all abundance is spiritual abundance. So from a yogic perspective, each of us is connected to the energy of pure abundance. And what we're inviting ourselves to do is, in our very body, in this human form where we find ourselves right now, connect with that energy of abundance, with our own human heart, connect with that energy of abundance, with our mind, with our thoughts, connect with that energy of abundance, and then allow that energy of abundance to flow through us naturally, effortlessly, wherever we find ourselves. And so this is using our talents, using our skill sets, using our voice and our accent, using wherever we are that the divine has placed us to be. With joy, with curiosity, with cheerfulness, with awareness, with kindness, with verve, with excitement, with enthusiasm. So I'm going to share with you, I'm smiling because I came across a teaching from Swami Shankarananda that relates to this. And he was asking a series of questions, and so I'm going to invite you to play along and bring your spirit of playfulness and inquiry. But he was asking, what do I think the source of abundance is? So I'm just going to pause and allow you to think about that for a second. What do I think the source of abundance is? And then he waited, and he was like, do I think that the world is the source of abundance for me? And he said, what I want is to go to the source of the world. I want to go to that which supports the whole world, that which supports the whole universe. And you can see the difference, right? So just see if you can feel your way directly. If I'm thinking that the world is my source of abundance, how am I going to interact with the world? And how am I going to feel in relation to the world if I just think about my relationship with the world when I'm thinking that the world is my source of abundance? It can sort of make you feel needy, shall we say? Like you're sort of desperately hoping, like, oh, well, maybe the world will like me today. Maybe it won't like me tomorrow. And if you go to that which upholds the whole world, notice what changes. Notice what shifts. Then you are in that which creates all abundance. I see people smiling. I see people sighing with relief. I see tension melting off of people's shoulders. It's a really simple shift. But anytime you have that feeling of strain or stress or distress or worry or fear or pain or self-judgment or blame, instead of thinking, this is between me and the world, and we need to duke it out, why not go to the source of the world and ask that which upholds the whole universe to help you see clearly? And say to that source, which upholds the whole universe, which brings all of us into time and space, genuinely say in your heart, in your awareness, in your entire life and being, I choose to see clearly. I am ready to see the truth of this situation. I am willing to see reality. I am willing to connect with the source of life itself. I'm willing to connect with the source of limitless joy. I'm willing to connect with the source of delight. I'm willing to connect with the source of fulfillment. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying this content, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps joy travel. When we are connected with that which is our own true nature, our own unchanging eternal reality. So our true expanded awareness, we are always beginningless, endless light. Always. We are always boundless love. Always. We are always infinite bliss. Always. The Upanishads tell us that when we go to the divine, what we realize, what we remember is, I am infinite bliss. And the Upanishads say, if we're asking the world for bliss, what we get is, the word translates as little bliss. We get little bliss from the world. So we know what that's like the little bliss that the world is capable of getting. It's sweet. It's like a fresh strawberry. It's like a flower blooming. It's like a friend smiling. It's like a hug. It's amazing. And it is, Swami Shankarananda used to say, it is an infinitesimal expression of infinite bliss. And so each of us is invited to connect directly. We're always connected with infinite bliss. And so that's what Acharya Kashi was talking about. When we are connected with that which upholds the whole universe, we might find ourselves, honestly, no joke, crying with love on York Road. I'm not making this up. So some people know what York Road is. I live off of York Road. I have found myself crying with love on York Road. Usually people cry for York Road for other reasons, right? Not usually because of ecstatic divine love. But if you go to the source, that which upholds the whole universe, you will cry with love everywhere, even on York Road, even when you're in traffic, no matter what you're experiencing. I see people just cracking up because everyone knows York Road. It's kind of famous. Not for making you cry with happiness and love. So this is what each of us is invited to do. And it's a very simple shift. So just notice, and so I'm starting to just start to talk about human practical realities. Just notice, over the course of this last week, have I been asking the world to be my source of abundance? And so that includes, have I been asking the world to be my source of love? Have I been asking the world to be my source of approval? Have I been asking the world to be my source of respect? Have I been asking the world to be my source of support? So go to the source, that which upholds the whole universe, and then what happens is we move in a field of love and respect and support and caring and all that we adore. We move in that field, and what happens then is the possibilities expand. And so I can just give you an example. Say I talked to an actual human this week who experienced this. She was working in a corporate situation. She lost her job abruptly. So it was a shock. It was completely unexpected. She's a human of faith, and so she prayed. And the message that came to her very clearly was walk in love. Be kind to other humans and walk in love. And so that was how she met. It feels, from a human perspective, like a calamity. It's a loss, it's a change, it's a big shift in your human reality. So be honest about acknowledging that, and whatever changes come, walk in love. Walk in kindness to other humans. So what happens then, she was moving in a field of love. She was moving in a field of kindness. She was moving in a field of connection. And so you notice what happens then is there's just an openness, there's an optimism, there's a harmony in her energy field. She's moving in the awareness of, if that is no longer my source of support, I'm still in this field of love and connection and support and harmony. And so there will be multiple opportunities that flow to her as she moves in that field of love and connection and support and kindness and harmony. And so then it just unfolds naturally, the way that a flower blooms, or the way that, bless you, the way that a tomato ripens, right? So I was smiling this morning in my yard. This little tomato, tiny little cherry tomato, got so ripe, it just dropped off the vine. And it just happened. Does that make sense? I didn't make the cherry tomato ripen. The cherry tomato ripened itself. And then it was like, I'm ready. So here I am. I'm so ready. I'm falling off the vine. And I think a lot of times in our human experiences, we have almost like we experience time as if it's a very rigid grid. And we start to have these pressures and these tensions and these stresses and these strains and these feelings of expectation. And it can cut us off from remembering that the child grows, the flower blooms, the fruit ripens. And it's our task to lovingly support the child while the child is growing, but we don't actually make the child grow. We just lovingly support the child while it grows. We don't make the flower bloom. We might water it. We might even plant it. We might pull the weeds. We're not in charge of the blooming. That energy of life itself is in charge of the blooming. And it's the same thing with the ripening of the fruit. And if we're not, I think it's the same way if you're ever standing over water waiting for it to boil. If I had been looking at that cherry tomato and going, ripen already, then it would have seemed like it took forever. But I wasn't noticing. I was just loving it, appreciating it, saying, oh, you're so beautiful. I love you. And then this morning it was here I am, ready. And so for all of us to move in that energy, I'm going to start to read some of the scriptures. In Psalm 37, this energy is called trust. This energy is called, the way that this psalm names it, trust in the Lord and do good. So trust in that energy of the divine and do good. Do your best to align your body and your heart and your mind, your thoughts, your words, your deeds, your choices, your actions, your intentions, your consciousness, everything that you are with that energy of the divine. Offering yourself to be kind, to be wise, to be present, to be of service, and allowing that energy of trust to support you. It is sort of like saying, I trust all of this life, all of this life. I'm looking out the window and you can see all of the trees sharing all of themselves in full trust. And so each of us is invited to do that. And each of us does that right where we are, using our own talents, opening our own heart right in the middle of our own life, allowing ourselves to trust, connecting ourselves with the energy of love and respect, allowing ourselves to connect. The energy of love and respect, it's right here in the heart of each one of us always. And so when we connect with this energy of love and respect within ourselves, then that will flow to us. It will be mirrored to us from other humans. Whereas, Lakshmi, is it okay if I play with you for a sec? In a positive way. So if I were grasping and I were Lakshmi, I need some love and respect from you, that creates not a flow of joyful love and respect. Lakshmi would be nah? I'm going to kind of excuse myself. I need to go get a drink of water down the hall. Thank you. And so what we're doing is when we connect with a source of love and respect and we remind ourselves, love and respect, that's my own heart energy. Love and respect, that's the energy that brings this human body into physical form. Love and respect, that's the energy that thinks through me, it speaks through me, it sends emails through me, it writes through me, it sends texts through me. That's the energy that makes decisions in high-powered business meetings, when you're in high-powered business meetings. It's that energy of love and respect. And what you'll find when you move in that energy of love and respect, that it's able to come to you with no grasping, the way that the flower blooms and the child grows and the fruit ripens, because it's this energy of life itself. The expanded awareness of each of us is, I am all of this life, all of it, always. I'm connected to all of it continually. And so then there's this kind of flow of support. One of my neighbors gave me a gigantic bag of kale for no reason. And, you just sort of say, amazing. Amazing gift of kale, manna from heaven in the form of kale. And then you might enjoy the kale or you might share the kale, whatever your heart guides you to do. And so this is what we're each invited to do, is to trust in that divine energy, trust in that divine connectedness. The psalm also says, this is Psalm 37, take delight in the Lord, and the Lord will give you the desires of your heart. And so this is that energy of joy. This is that energy of just wonder. So the Bhagavad Gita says to each of us, fill your heart with joy, with awe, with wonder. And when you do, you will see the divine everywhere. You will see the divine with your eyes closed. You will see the divine with your eyes open. You will see the divine when you're meditating. You will see the divine if you're down on your knees, scrubbing your kitchen floor. You will see only the divine. if you open your heart in joy and awe and wonder and connect with the divine. And so that's what this is talking about right here. Take delight in the Lord, and the Lord will give you the desires of your heart. And you can see and feel this because the divine is your heart. What else do I think my heart is? It's the divine. And so when I open my heart and I connect with that, this is the divine right here, that energy of love, that energy of curiosity and exploration and wonder. That's the divine in me. And so when I allow that to bloom, I allow that to open, I allow that to shine, of course there's delight. Of course there's fulfillment, and it's natural. And the other thing about this is it's also very pure. So these are the noble, pure, bright desires of our heart that are fulfilled. They're the generous, kind, wonderful, sharing, selfless, giving desires of our heart. And that's the energy Acharya Kashi was naming, that energy of just welcome, that energy of embracing the divine in everyone and everything. Another teaching that I wanted to share, this is from the Bhagavad Gita, and it's chapter 4, verse 18. Realize the self in action, and action in fulfillment of the will of the self. And I'm going to share another verse from the Gita, chapter 7, verse 22. I alone grant the fulfillment of all hopes. And so this, again, is saying the self is actually the reality. And this is the self with a capital S. This is the one. This is the source of the whole universe. That's the reality. And so be in contact with that reality. Be in contact with the one with a capital O, which pours forth into time and space as all of this. And then your every action will be inspired action. Your every action will be harmonious in relation to divine love and divine wisdom. And so naturally, you will be acting in fulfillment of the will of the self. So the will of the self is divine love and divine wisdom in motion. And so if you ever have a question, like you feel like I'm making a choice, I'm at a crossroads, just I open to divine love. I open to divine wisdom. I open to divine will. Also, if you find, as some humans sometimes find, that you do actually have an inner knowing, but you're resisting the inner knowing, I bow to divine love. I bow to divine wisdom. I bow to divine will. And so that would be like, if you already sort of have clarity, you're already like, well, this is actually not going to happen the way that my human self intends. I bow to divine love. I bow to divine wisdom. I bow to divine will. And then again, you're moving in fulfillment of the will of the whole. And so you're not trying to stop Niagara Falls from being Niagara Falls. Has anyone ever tried that? Yeah, it's kind of exhausting and impossible. And we have like something about the size of a thimble, right? And we're trying to stop Niagara Falls from being Niagara Falls. So this is, you allow Niagara Falls to be Niagara Falls, and you align with the source of Niagara Falls, and then you're being supported by that limitless energy, by that boundless love, and that inspired, guided wisdom and insight. The divine says, I alone grant the fulfillment of all hopes. And so we're going to the divine fulfillment of all hopes. Being willing to say to the divine, here is humanly what I would love. This is what I think from my human perspective. Please fulfill the hopes that are optimal to fulfill. That would be a wonderful way to pray based on this particular verse. And you might have this clarity and awareness, but I rather frequently hear from humans who report to me, at the time, I was praying with all my heart because I thought that this particular outcome would be the best. And now I look back and I'm like, oh, thank God that didn't happen. So keep your sense of humor absolutely fine. Like you have your perspective at the time about what the optimal outcome would be. Name it to the divine. And then also give it to the divine totally and ask that the divine fulfill what is pure and optimal to fulfill. So a couple of teachings from Swami Shankarananda, who founded our meditation community. If you haven't seen a picture from him, there's one as you enter, and then there's also wonderful pictures of him on our website, awakeyogameditation.org. So he says, eschew all flattery and be indifferent to pleasure and pain, success and failure, and all worldly glory. because you remember who you are and have always been, the universal, ever-free, ever-blissful self. And so he's actually saying, just let go of any flattery. Don't need to give flattery, don't need to pay any attention to it. Just, it's gone, it's vanished. The only thing that's here is remembering who you are and have always been, the universal, ever-free, ever-blissful self. And when you are remembering, I am the universal, ever-free, ever-blissful self, then you will be indifferent to pleasure and pain. You will notice that blueberry was sweet, that blueberry was not sweet, but you'll notice it lightly, and you'll just be navigating wisely and joyfully whatever the pairs of opposites are in time and space. So he says you'll be indifferent to success and failure. So from a human perspective, those can be experiences that the human self has. But he says when you remember, I am the universal, ever-free, ever-blissful self, you're indifferent to it. You sort of watch it come, you watch it go, and you're able to navigate it all joyfully and wisely, sort of wearing it lightly, being confident and clear in that energy of trust. And so back to that teaching from the Psalm, be confident and clear in that energy of trust. Trust the strength that is within you. Trust the steadiness of the light that is within you. Trust the strong, steady foundation that is within you. Trust the unwavering awareness, the unwavering, boundless love that is within you. Trust the goodness, the joy, the delight, the gladness, the generosity, the sharing, the caring, the insight that is within you. And then, of course, worldly glory, it can be here. And you won't be affected by it. You will be innocent and pure. It can be somewhere else, and you won't be affected by it. You will be your innocent, pure self. And so, interestingly enough, then that frees you to navigate whatever the divine wants to send you. That frees you to navigate it easily, with wisdom, with grace, with kindness, with gladness. Swami Shankarananda also says, abide in the heart of love. And so I'm just inviting us all to feel, how does it feel when I open my heart and I abide in the heart of love? And so I'm just inviting us to feel, in relation to my body, how do I feel if I abide in the heart of love? How do I interact with my body, abiding in the heart of love? In relation to my heart, how do I feel if I abide in the heart of love? In relation to my patterns of thinking, how do I feel if I abide in the heart of love? In relation to how I usually see my human life, how do I feel if I abide in the heart of love? And then maybe look at the very pure desires of your heart, so the pure intentions of your heart to be of service, to love the divine, to honorably, nobly share the gifts and the talents and the joy and the light and the love and the delight that is here in you to share. How does it feel if I abide in the heart of love? And I ask the heart of love to share through me with absolute simplicity and purity what is delightful and absolutely joyful to share through me. And you sort of notice what happens then. It's back to that energy of the flower blooms. We're part of it. Our self-effort, our attention, our presence, our awareness, our being here and being of service, we're part of it. We don't make the flower bloom. The child grows. We're part of it. We offer our love and support with our entire beings, but we don't actually make the child grow. The fruit ripens. We're a part of it. But life itself is taking care of all of this. And so when we abide in the heart of love, we're actually giving permission for life itself to share through us in innocence, in simplicity, honorably, nobly, generously, wisely, kindly, with absolute joy and delight and fulfillment. Notice what happens then. The intrinsic fulfillment, it's already with you. It's already there, like you're full to overflowing with intrinsic fulfillment from within. And so then you're moving in this energy of fulfillment, this energy of wholeness. So then, of course, whatever is optimal in time and space, of course, It unfolds the same way that the sun shares its light, the same way that the earth shares its steadiness, the same way that the sky is so vast and clear, the same way that the breeze brushes across your face, the same way that the breeze and the brook, the stream flows and it dances. When it encounters rocks, when it encounters obstacles, it dances and it sings as it flows over those rocks and over those obstacles. And so that's what we're inviting ourselves to do and to be that energy of wholeness in flowing motion. Swami Shankarananda says, as we practice this, what happens is we become a vortex of strength, peace, and nourishment unto others. And so I'm just inviting you to feel that. We become a vortex of strength, peace, and nourishment unto others. These words I find deeply moving because he gave them very, very late in his physical time in embodiment, when it was not comfortable or easy for him to be in embodiment. And he was living with his life what these words are saying. So become a vortex of strength, peace, and nourishment unto others. He was that with his body, with his heart, with his mind, with his life. He was that. And so he was just demonstrating, he was making visible what is possible for each of us. That each of us, up until the very last breath we breathe, is here to be a vortex of strength and peace and nourishment unto others. And he said that what happens when we give ourselves in this way, we behold the one in all, and all as one. And so everything that you look upon, you see the one, you see the divine. You see the radiance. You see the core of light within all beings. And you also see all of this is the one. All of this is the one in flowing motion. I came across a teaching from him yesterday. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're sharing teachings from Swami Shankarananda online on different social media platforms. So this one was on TikTok. There's a Swami Nityananda TikTok account where we also share teachings from Swami Shankarananda. And I just burst into tears because he shared his teaching, and I actually don't even remember the exact words that he said, but what moved me so much was he was being this, and he was speaking, and he had to pause to allow his voice to be strong enough to speak. And so he paused to be strong enough to allow his voice to speak. And one of the things that is also directly apparent is when you encounter a true teacher, what you are receiving is not really the words. The words are precious. They are absolutely priceless. They are spoken in truth, and they are spoken because the teacher is living the truth. But what you are really receiving is that energy of direct love, that energy of direct illumination, that energy of direct radiance, that energy of direct kindness. And so that's what's really being shared. So if you like I encourage you to check out, it's a Swami Nityananda TikTok, and we share teachings from Swami Shankarananda. Kashi could help you connect with that if you have any questions about how to do that. But I encourage you to check that out. See if you can watch it without crying. I was not capable of watching it without crying. But for each of us, so here's the very practical invitation. This is my body. Right now, such as it is. It's a gift from the divine. And so how may I let it be a vortex of strength and peace and nourishment unto others? This is my heart, such as it is. I give all of it. How may I allow it to be a vortex of strength and peace and nourishment to others? This is my mind. How may I let it be a vortex of strength and peace and nourishment unto others? This is my life. Up until the very last breath that I breathe, how may I allow it to be a vortex of strength and peace and nourishment unto others? And for each of us, that's the simple, very pure, very true question. Giving permission to the divine to be a vortex of strength and peace and nourishment unto others. And the divine is doing this right where you are. Right where you are in your daily life, the divine is doing this through you, because more importantly, the divine is being this through you. So connect with this being, connect with this ever-present, beginningless, endless vortex of strength and peace and nourishment. All doing will arise from that connection with being. And then we actually move in the energy of strength and nourishment and peace. And that unbroken, flowing wholeness transforms our lives, certainly, but also transforms this beautiful, precious world we live in. Thank God, and God bless us all.